Sea of Thieves has been alive and kicking since March 2018. Developed by Rare and published by Xbox Game Studios, it's been one of my guilty pleasures to play. I was even fortunate enough to play Sea of Thieves on a pirate ship at PAX 2017 here in Melbourne when Microsoft took over Polly Woodside. Now, if you have never played Sea of Thieves, it's an open world pirate exploration game which pits you and your first mate, or you and a crew of mates, against other pirate crews in order to explore, loot, and kill in order to grow your reputation and become a pirate legend. For me, there was only one real limitation to this game. If you decided to traverse the vast open world on your own, you were an easy target for other pirate crews. And having experienced that firsthand, without a crew of my own to set sail and conquer the seas, I decided to drop anchor until now.
You're supposed to be dead!
Am I not?
My kids being of age where they are coordinated enough and can communicate for periods of time without trying to kill each other, and Sea of Thieves now making its way into the PlayStation ecosystem, it's a great time to set sail once more and see what Sea of Thieves has in store in 2024. As you dive into the menus of Sea of Thieves, you'll be greeted with 3 menus to choose from. The Discover menu, What's New, which will show you what's new in terms of content to the game. The Pirate Emporium, what's new within the store to buy new outfits and ship customizations for your game experience, and Play, which will take you to the Play menu, and you'll notice that residing next to Discover. Play, this allows you to determine what type of experience you would like to start your game with, giving you the option to dive into the adventure and learn the controls on the fly. Starting the Legend of Monkey Island, which is a tall tale within the game, and a tutorial level. Now, the tutorial was added to the game after launch, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the tutorial for Sea of Thieves, as it does an amazing job at teaching you the different controls and how these adapt when coming into different traversal methods from land to sea. It also has a bit of a story component to it, which again I was really drawn into. You meet the ghost of a pirate lord and he guides you into the legendary Sea of Thieves. Within the adventure option, you are then given the option to choose high seas or safer seas. High seas is the full-on open sandbox multiplayer world, which is what the game launched with. And if you're playing this solo, you will 100% be at the mercy of other pirate crews if you encounter them. And should they choose to engage you, you're not really going to be in for a good time.
Enough!
The Safer Seas option is a world sandbox to you as a player, and you can invite your friends in with you so that you don't have to run into the threat of other players. But be mindful, when playing in the Safer Seas, you don't get access to the full offerings from the game, and your rewards are significantly reduced. As the saying goes, no risk, no reward.
Why is the rum gone?
Both High Seas and Safer Seas play options give you the ability to use a ship of your own, or alternatively, you can rent a ship. But don't worry, it doesn't actually cost you anything to rent a ship. There are 3 different types of ships to choose from, depending on how many people you are playing the game with. The Sloop, a small ship which can be manned by 1 or 2 people. Brigantine, a medium-sized ship which takes 2 to 3 people to man efficiently, and a galleon, which takes 3 to 4 people to man properly. Guilds. Now the guilds allow you to review current guild invitations, or alternatively, you can create your own guild, but you have to own a ship to do this. When you first start the game, you'll be given the opportunity to create your own character for your own game experience. Once this is done, the customization isn't over. As you earn money and reputation in the game, you can spend this currency to alter your appearance. From hairstyles, facial hair, tattoos, and of course a wide range of clothing selections and fake appendages for you to choose from.
Stop that! You really feel like a fool.
Look nice though.
You will also be able to change the stylings of your melee weapon, pistol, musket, and sniper rifle, none of which I have found to have any competitive edge in combat. It's more for bragging rights, allowing you to create your own look in the vast pirate world that Sea of Thieves is putting on offer. Just like your character, your ship is also able to be customized, giving it your own flair and style. This doesn't matter. If you own or are renting the ship, you can still customize the visuals on the ship to suit your own liking. You can customize the paint on the hull, the sails, the flag, the figurehead, the wheel, the anchor, as well as the interior trimmings to suit your own vision of pirate life on the open waves. Once you are let loose into Sea of Thieves, you are likely to wake up in a tavern, and initial impressions are the game is really cartoony, with the character designs being like a caricature drawing rendered digitally, until you step outside and see the world you're in. Yes, it's still incredibly cartoony, but it's amazingly captivating, with a broad depth of colour and movement which is a true feast for the eyes. From the overlapping layers of sand on the beach, the shadows that the rocks and foliage cast while roaming on land, and the way the light touches the grass and plants, the fire on torches in caves, and most importantly for any pirate game, the sea. The water in Sea of Thieves is the best I have seen by far, from the cool lush blues in the calm shallow waters when on land, to the dark green hues of violent storms in open oceans as monstrous waves of water rise from the horizon in an attempt to engulf you and your ship as you brave the storms and their treachery. The water is truly hypnotic and so amazingly beautiful. Not to mention the horizon will transition from a picture-perfect day to a calm night, and the weather will change on a whim. It's incredibly easy to get lost just admiring the world that Sea of Thieves sinks you into. Its simplistic styling's loaded with subtle beauty. Now, what you might notice right away about Sea of Thieves is that there is no HUD. There is no information the game is going to feed you, save in the bottom left hand corner where you can see your health bar, and when you equip a projectile weapon, a shot counter in the bottom right corner of the screen. Outside of that, you're not given any other screen information except for when you approach items and characters that you can interact with. Then it will tell you what you can do. Board your ship off the end of a pier or jetty and head to the captain's table, where you can choose what type of voyage you want to embark on and which faction you want to work for. Once you have decided, you will be given a map or clue depending on which faction you have chosen. You will need to open your inventory and look up the quest items to select and view the map or clue. And once you're holding it, you will need to hold this up in order to read it. This will reveal to you your destination, and once we know this, you can head over to the map table on every ship and you'll have to manually search where your destination is with respect to your position. There is no option to pick a destination and to have the game give you a marker on screen to ensure that you are pointing in the right direction, and if that's what you're expecting, you can forget it. If you want to take your ship and pull away from land and explore the beautiful, vast open sea, then you need to think about what you need to do to make that happen. You'll need to take the parking brake off the boat by raising the anchor, but to do this, you'll need to winch it up. Then, you'll need to set your sails. The more unfurled the sails, the more wind you will catch, meaning the faster you will go. And if you want to fully harness the power of the wind, you will need to adjust the angle of the sails to catch the direction of wind travel accordingly. Sea of Thieves has the most simplistic and refreshing approach to navigation possible. When you are looking at the map table, take note of which way the ship is facing and the compass on the map, and when you have prepped the ship for sailing, use the compass next to the wheel to get an idea of your general heading. If you're using a larger ship and a crew, voice communication here is vital to ensuring a smooth sailing experience. You can manage all this on a smaller ship like a sloop by yourself, but you will need to get yourself into a rhythm when approaching your destination to raise the sails and lower the anchor. What you'll find the first few times playing is that you will hit land and damage the hull of the ship, which you can repair with the wood on board the ship, so don't worry, it's all a bit of a learning curve. There are 3 main factions within the game that require you to level up in order to progress into the endgame, and these are the Gold Hoarders, who will typically want all forms of treasure and gold and are more than happy to pay you for your efforts. The Order of Souls, they want you to target skeleton captains and collect their skulls for their collections. The Merchant Alliance, who want you to collect various types of livestock from islands and return it for rewards. A representative from each faction can be found at every outpost you make landfall on, and each faction also has their own unique, themed items you can purchase, from the likes of shovels, lanterns, compasses, and more. As you navigate from outposts to islands and everything in between, the enemies you face are more than just other players. As you collect chests for gold hoarders, or you are performing missions for the Order of Souls, this will typically summon skeletons to approach and attack you as you try to wrangle the treasure from its sandy burial spot so you can haul it onto your ship. Skeletons will either wield swords, pistols, or muskets to attack you, so pick your targets wisely. When it's nighttime, in addition to skeletons, you will also encounter phantoms, which are ghostly pirate apparitions, which can disappear and reappear in different spots, but aren't too difficult to dispatch with your weapon of choosing. And if you're out and about exploring the world and diving down into the altars beneath the waves, you'll run into not only sharks, but sirens which will attack you. Again, underwater, a sword is your best friend, but if you can nab a siren's trident, even better. You will also encounter wildlife like snakes on an island, which are easy enough to find as you will hear them hissing as you approach them, and they will rear up as you get close, but a quick tap with a sword is enough to sort them out. As you're sailing the seas, you'll run into megalodons. These oversized mammoth predators can be killed, but if you can, it's better to avoid them, especially if you're on your own. And I have only ever experienced this in high seas mode with a full crew, but sail into the wrong spots and you may be unfortunate enough to encounter the Kraken. And this beast will wrap your ship up and drag it down into the depths of the ocean.
No. Kraken's how it's pronounced in the original Scandinavian, and Kraken's closer to that.
Well, we ain't original Scandinavian.
While you're at sea, you may run into NPC pirates or other actual player pirates while traversing the beautiful oceans. If you're alone, this is not going to be an easy task, as like most things within Sea of Thieves, there is no readily available help or aim here. It's all done by line of sight. What you will need to do here is ensure that you have cannonballs on hand. Load the cannonballs into the cannon and aim at the hull of the enemy vessel, just around the waterline to let the ocean into the ship. Or you can aim at the mast to make the enemy vessel stranded in the water. Be careful though, because the same can be done to you. And again, if you're on your own, you'll also need to attend to ship repairs, steering and attacking all at once, making it near impossible, especially if you're in the high seas environment. And as a reminder, if you run out of cannonballs, you can always load yourself into the cannon and launch yourself at the enemy ship.
We've been hit by an officer! If they're going to fire on us, we'll respond in kind. Fire! Not me!
Personally, I love Sea of Thieves' minimalistic approach to playing a video game. Its non-hand-holding approach really immerses you into the game and makes you think about what you're doing in digital space and how you can harness the digital world around you in order to achieve your objective, which I can't tell you how refreshing this is. I even saw my kids interpreting location details on the map different to me, where I was interpreting travel based on compass heading and general direction, like heading northwest to reach my destination. My oldest son saw this as a grid, and when I was asking him for a sense of direction, he let me know I was on H2 and I needed to be headed to H8, which just blew me away in terms of how he was processing the information from the game. If you have a group of friends and are looking to cut your teeth on adventure, Sea of Thieves offers up a lot of fun, and you can play it your way. But if you're playing solo, the safer seas option might be better, but you may find your playtime reducing due to lack of interest.